Hey guys, I'm Alistair and this is the North Face VECTIV Sky 2. The VECTIV Sky 2 is really a trail racing shoe designed for running fast over technical terrain. It's really one of those precision tools for anyone who wants to step into skyrunning or just wants to go as fast as they can over technical terrain, and that includes steep inclines and steep technical declines too. It is part of the North Face's Summit series of gear, which is their high-end racing series. And it's really ideal for distances probably of up to a marathon, I'd say, because it does have quite a firm ride. And when I say firm, I mean responsive. Kind of use those terms interchangeably sometimes. So it's very minimal, but very controllable and fast because of it. Time to dive straight into the key specifications. Firstly, they cost $200. I'll let you know at the end of this review if I believe they're worth that price tag. Yes, that's premium, but there's a lot of top tech going into this trail racing shoe. They weigh 8.4 ounces or 238 grams, and that's for a size US men's 9, my pair. And they have a 6mm drop from heel to toe. So that's 24.5 millimeters off the ground at the heel and 18.5 millimeters off the ground under the toe. That's a pretty low stack height, but I really like that in trail racing shoes like this because a low stack gives you really good ground feel, and it also allows you to adapt to the trail that comes before you and gives you really good control on technical terrain. So for a decent, fast, minimal trail racing shoe, you need to have a low stack height like this. If you are into those really cushioned trail running shoes, even when it comes to race day, then these probably aren't going to be for you. But if you really do want the best in performance, stick around, you're going to want to hear about this shoe. The midsole is using nitrogen-infused TPU foam, and it also has a carbon fiber plate running through it. The outsole uses the very impressive surface control rubber compound from the North Face, and the lugs have 5 millimeters of depth to them, which makes them really claw-like, and because they are that forward chevron pattern, it does discharge mud really well. I've actually been running in quite a lot of muddy conditions with these shoes, and what's great about the shape of the lugs is that when the mud kind of sticks to the shoe, it gets released very quickly, meaning you don't clog up the outsole when you're running. Really love the one-piece mesh upper, super breathable as you can see. It's very durable. And I like this winged tongue here. Stays in place really well, there's no slippage going on. Just a really nice design upper. There's a good amount of support as well. Moving on to the sizing and fit then. Well, they're very much true to size, so I'd recommend going the usual sizing, and they have a medium fit. I also like how there's a nice bit of wiggle room in the toe box that allows your toes to splay out a little bit, which is very important when you are running up steep inclines. It allows you to use your toes how they were designed to be used when going up hills, which means splaying out and getting as much power out of those toe muscles as possible. Also allows you to regulate temperature within the shoe, having a little bit of extra room in the toe box. And of course, if you are running for long periods of time or it's hot conditions, your feet are going to swell a little bit. So it's nice to have a little bit of extra room in the toe box there for that kind of scenario. They're also very lightweight and supportive out of the box. So if you are going to be racing where there are lots of steep inclines or lots of vertical gain in your trail race, then you want a lighter shoe as possible really, because you don't want to be lugging up all this extra weight coming from your shoes when you're running up hills. So I love how lightweight they are, but also they're pretty supportive in the upper. One thing to note, and something I noticed, is these collars around here, around your ankles, do rise quite high. So if you have very low ankle bones, you know who you are, then I don't think you're going to get on with these. You will feel this heel wall kind of touching your ankles. Now I have averagely placed ankles and I feel this as well, which is a little bit disappointing. That said, it does get a lot better after about 2 kilometers of running. It does soften up and then it's no longer a problem. North Face could very easily fix this in the next version, and all they'd have to do is make those collar walls a little bit more plush, a little more padded. Might add a little bit of extra weight, but I think the comfort would be profound, the extra comfort benefit. They could just make it very similar to the VECTIV Infinite 2, which is a fantastic trail running shoe, by the way. But it's just got a wider collar there, and that would just, for me, that would fix the issue. And then finally, the heel lock is fantastic. So if you are running up steep incline, you don't get any slippage from your heel, meaning you won't get any lost energy when you're trying to power up a hill. If you're enjoying this review so far, please just give a video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to my channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. I always keep my videos authentic, honest, and as insightful as possible to help you decide whether or not the shoe I'm reviewing is going to be good for you. But if at any point in any of my videos you've got a question, just drop it in the comments down below. And if you're just really not sure where to start, but you know what kind of running you want to get into, or what type of running you like doing, let me know those circumstances and I'll get you hooked up with the best running shoes for you. Congrats, you've made it to my performance review. I'm going to start with the midsole on this one. The VECTIV Sky 2 feels incredibly fast, and it is incredibly fast, and that's because of this midsole. Now, whilst there is a very low stack, it is very minimal and there's a lot of ground feel, meaning it might feel quite firm for a lot of people underfoot. That does mean you get a lot of control and actually speed from this shoe, which is what you want from a trail racing shoe. And this speed is most noticeable on rolling trails where you've got lots of flat sections, gradients going up and then down. Then you really do get the power from this carbon fiber plate. As you can see, there's quite a lot of energy restored when I flex this shoe, meaning you get that energy back as you run. And because it's not hugely stiff, you actually do get a really nice ride when climbing steep inclines. I've mentioned this in the past where trail racing shoes that have stiff carbon fiber plates can actually become a problem when you're actually trying to run up steep inclines. And that's because it's very hard to flex a plate around the forefoot area. You're asking your toes a lot to flex that plate and get anything back from it when going up a steep hill. And that's, of course, if you imagine a hill here, all of that work is happening at the forefoot and your toes. So if you've got a stiff plate, your toes cannot do what they're supposed to do. So I like that this one does have a great amount of flex around the front where your toes need to power off to get you good performance on climbs. So with all the benefits of this midsole foam and carbon fiber plate being speed and ground feel and control, anyone who is used to a soft, plush ride on the trails might feel like these are too firm for you. In which case, I would recommend going for the Infinite series from the North Face instead. That model is just better placed for longer distances and all mountain running, whereas this is more race day focused. Moving on to the outsole, that's my second favorite thing. The 5mm lugs and surface control rubber compound performs fantastically. It's the same rubber compound that was on the Infinite 2, which I reviewed not too long ago. Version 3 is coming very soon, by the way, and I'm going to be reviewing that one as soon as that's out. But I love the rubber compound on this. Traction's fantastic. The lugs are great in muddy, wet conditions, so slick rocks, roots, that kind of stuff. It just handles everything really well. No complaints. At no point have I felt like I'm losing confidence or control on the trails, which you need to have that if you're racing on trails. You don't want to be worrying about if you're going to slip, because then you're not performing to your best of your ability. You need to be able to throw yourself down those trails sometimes if you're trying to perform and place within a race. So loving the outsole, performs fantastically and not had a problem yet. And speaking of control, I didn't mention this before when talking about the plate, but there is a good amount of stability in your plate because it's winged at the forefoot. You can kind of see those wings here, it's the black sections. It just gives you good stability under the forefoot. But actually there's a lot of torsional flex, which is really nice. So as you can see, I can just flex this shoe like so, and that really does give me more control on the trails. so I don't have this really rigid plate underfoot throwing me off when I stand on rocks and stuff like that, which is really important again. Then the upper. Well, the upper's great. It's quite minimal, but it's very breathable and it does give you a really good heel lock. I mentioned earlier that it's very important to have a solid heel lock if you're going to be going up steep inclines, because you don't want to lose energy from heel slip. But also it's important to feel locked within the shoe if you are going to be running on technical trails, whether that's on a flat or even down hills. I just wish it was softer around this collar section here. The heel count is great, there is a bit of flex. Again, all this does break in, but I feel like it could be so easily fixed right out of the box at no kind of cost to the North Face. It would be an easy one, and I feel like the next version really does have to have that. We'll see what happens. I also like the rocketed geometry of the shoe. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a rocker at the heel going up here and also at the forefoot. That gives you a nice transition, but it is still a firm ride. So the fact it's a firm ride, I'm very grateful that there is a rocker in there, because it does just soften out the landing to take off transition of your stride. And that just makes it that little bit more comfortable. For those of you who just aren't really used to running in a minimal trail racing shoe like this, these kinds of shoes do teach you to run more lightly or tread lightly, and to pick up your feet a bit more and increase your cadence, just because of the very nature of the shoe design and how minimal it might feel underfoot. So all those things are actually really good, because that's how we naturally should be running. I love these types of shoes for those reasons, but also I love running trails fast. I just love running up steep inclines and then back down the other side. Sky racing type runs. That's where it fun's at for me. So shoes like this are actually perfect for that kind of running. What's my final verdict then? And is it worth $200? Well, you know what? It might have a few comfort issues in the collar around the ankle, which does loosen up, it does soften up over time, maybe a couple of kilometers. It is an incredible shoe. I mean, it's got so much going for itself. It's very responsive, it's got great control, excellent traction underfoot, and I think it looks really nice too. I love how breathable and supportive the upper is. And you know what? I'm going to be hanging on to this. I'm probably going to do a few races in this, maybe in the spring, maybe over summer. So yes, it's worth $200 for the right person. Now, don't go into buying this shoe if you are looking for a very cushioned running shoe. For you, maybe you're going to want more of an all-mountain trail running shoe that is lightweight and can handle races. Or maybe a more cushioned trail racing shoe that's still minimal, something like the Hoka Zanardi 2, for example, or the Merrell Test Lab Long Sky 2 Matrix, two fantastic trail racing shoes that fit within this category of minimal sky running type shoes. I'll put links up there to those as I call them out, also in the description. So if you want to learn about any of those racing shoes, just go watch those videos. And if you want to know what my favorite trail running shoes are right now, then definitely head over to my best trail running shoes roundup on trailandkale.com. On there, I keep that list updated as and when I review shoes. If they're good enough, I'll put them on that list. So if you're watching this video in the future, you might want to check out that list to see what my favorite shoes are at this time. On that roundup, I categorize the shoes into 3 categories. One being all-mountain trail running shoes, trail racing shoes, and then finally road to trail shoes or hybrid trail running shoes. So check it out. Well, thanks for watching this The North Face VECTIV Sky 2 trail racing shoe review. If you did enjoy it, please give the video a like. It helps me out and my channel. I really appreciate it when you guys do that. And subscribe to this channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.